In this video, we're going to be doing a technique analysis on the serve of Sri, who goes by Sri Dog on the forums at essentialtennis.com. And we're going to be comparing his serve side by side with the serve of a friend of mine, Jason Cole. Jason played Futures and Challengers a couple years back. He and I played college tennis together. He's well above a 5.0 level, and the serves that you guys are going to see Jason hitting in his video are probably around 115 or 120 miles an hour or so. Sri's, I'm not sure exactly, but by watching his video, I'd say he's probably hitting around 80 miles an hour or so. He's got a good serve. And let's just watch Sri hit a couple of them here so that you guys get an idea of what his level is. Just watch two. Okay. Sri's doing a lot of things very well in his serve, and we're going to go down a checklist here and check out several different technique cues and things that we're going to be looking for that are very important in the serve. And those things are the body rotation, shoulder tilt, knee bend, racket drop, and contact point. So we're going to be going down a checklist of 5 different things and areas that Sri hopefully is doing a good job in, and in several areas he's doing great, and others he needs to improve. And this is how really he's going to learn how to bring his serve to the next level. So let's go ahead and start going here frame by frame. And we're going to start off by looking at the body rotation. And Sri has set himself up well here to hit a good serve. He's turned his body about 90 degrees to the baseline and about parallel to the camera here. He's turning and facing the camera, which is good. He could turn back a little bit farther. And when you guys watch tennis on TV, very often the player who is serving on the close side, the player who's closer to the camera, very often is turning and actually facing their chest towards the camera. And Sri here, because of his stance and because of his turn back, is facing the camera towards the side. And he could turn a little bit farther, but this is not bad at all. Let's take a look at Jason. And I think Jason's very similar. The camera's in a very similar position. And Jason has tilted his body back just a little bit farther. If you look at the two side by side, it looks like Jason has maybe turned about 10, 15 degrees farther than Sri has. And so, Sri, you're pretty close here. It's not bad at all. And I typically tell people who are starting off and learning how to hit a good serve that they need to be 90 degrees to the baseline. So you've got a good start here. If you want to rotate your body a little bit farther back and face your chest a little bit more towards the backdrop, that would be a good thing. But you're not too far off here at all. Okay, so let's continue on going here. And the next thing we're going to look at is shoulder tilt. And we're going to go up to the top of Sri's toss here. And we're going to kind of let the ball drop down a little bit. And I want you guys to see the position that Sri is getting with in his shoulders. Now, if you guys watch him toss, right about here, it looks like he's starting to do a good job. His left arm is up in the air. He's tilted really well with that left side. His right arm starts to come up. And watch what happens with his left side. It drops very, very early. And if we look at the angle that he's making here with his shoulders, if I draw a line across here, if parallel to the ground is 0 degrees, and here I'll draw another line. So if this is parallel to the ground, Sri, I would say you're under a little bit under 45 degrees. This is probably 35 or 40 degrees or so. And now we're going to go over and take a look at Jason. I'm going to back it up a little bit. And we see that Jason gets in a similar position initially when he makes his toss. But look at what happens with his right side. And as his toss starts to drop, I'll go again so you guys can see what he's doing. He's putting his left arm up there to toss. Rather than bringing his right side up, he actually keeps it down. And I want you guys to check out the angle. I'm going to draw a line down across Jason's shoulders compared to the court surface. And Jason here is definitely past 45 degrees. I would say this is probably about 60 degrees or so, maybe 65 or 70. Definitely not 90 degrees. He's more than 90 degrees with this, with his left side here, which is pretty cool. But his overall shoulder angle is probably about 70 degrees or so. So Jason's doing a much better job than you are, Sri, with tilting his shoulders. And this is probably one of the biggest areas that you need to improve on is tilting your shoulders back. You have a very shallow tilt with your shoulders. So that's the first thing that you need to work on is your shoulder tilt. Next up, let's take a look at your knee bend. And we'll go back just a couple frames and see how you're bending your knees. And I think you're doing a good job here. You're getting down pretty well. We'll back Jason up a little bit and go down to his knee bend. And you guys are very similar here. Jason may be a little bit lower than you, but not much. So I think you're doing a good job here as well. So if we had a little checklist going, you're doing well with the knee bend. You're doing well with the body rotation. Shoulder tilt, you're definitely well off Jason. That's something that you definitely need to improve. Next up, we're going to take a look at the racket drop. We're going to watch the tip of Sri's racket on the left here. Watch how his racket falls and drops. And the tip of his racket right now, it looks like, is just a little bit below waist level. We're right about waist level here, which is very good. That's good shoulder flexibility, Sri. That's not bad at all. And let's take a look at Jason. See how Jason's doing when he drops his racket. And it's very similar. Jason is just about waist level, maybe a little bit lower than waist level. So Sri, you're doing a good job with your racket drop as well. You've got a good flexible shoulder, and you've got good technique here. Nice job dropping your racket. And you're in a very similar position to Jason here if you look side by side. You guys have similar angle with your shoulders now. The difference is Jason has begun his rotation from a much steeper angle. So we see Jason go from here, that 70 degrees, and now he's rotating from there up towards the ball. And we see from his shoulder tilt to his racket drop, he's got a lot more going on than you do. You go from here to here. And so there's not a whole lot going on with your core compared to Jason. Your racket is dropping, but there's not much rotating of your shoulders going up towards the ball yet. And that's because you didn't get them very tilted to begin with. And that's why the shoulder tilt is so important. It's to get the big parts of your body rotating up towards the ball.